Welcome to KR Films Entertainment Channel. Today I am going to explain a 2022 action thriller film called Vikram Vedha. A group of gangsters headed by Vedha has long been the main enemy in the main mission of the police in India. The police had also formed a special unit led by Inspector Abbas and Inspector Vikram to root out the gang. After getting information about the group's whereabouts, they immediately went on an ambush. A shootout between the police and Vedha's men ensued, and the situation was tense. Vikram mercilessly eliminated all of Vedha's men. During the incident, the police found a dead body that appeared unfamiliar and also did not have any weapons like the rest of Vedha's men. Not wanting to be accused of committing the offense of killing an innocent man, Vikram manipulated the whole incident by putting a gun on the dead man. When Vikram's wife, Priya, a lawyer by profession, learned of the incident, she strongly disagreed with her husband's decision. According to her, the police had committed murder. The next day, Vikram and Abbas' boss, Surendhar, was informed about Vedha's whereabouts in a nearby village. Since the villagers were ready to die to protect Vedha, the police mobilized their best troops to capture him. However, something very surprising happened. Vedha, the gangster leader who was being sought after by the police, bravely came to the police station alone to surrender himself. Vedha's arrival to surrender to the police was like a delicious meal for the police. Vedha's interrogation was soon conducted, but it turned out that interrogating a gangster chief was no easy feat. Throughout the interrogation, Vedha was tight-lipped. When it was Vikram's turn to interrogate him, he again remained silent. After a long period of silence, Vedha finally opened his mouth and started talking. "You consider me a criminal, but you yourself have killed many of my men," Vedha said. Vedha then told Vikram the story of his life. And Vikram listened to it carefully. Vedha told him about his past life, which began 13 years ago. He was very young at that moment, but he was already a henchman of the most feared gangster named Parshuram. One day, a gang from another region kidnapped a kid, and they demanded a ransom from the child's parents, who were known to come from a wealthy family. Parshuram, who ruled the region, was furious when he found out that another gang had invaded his territory. Vedha then offered to confront the gangsters. However, as Vedha was still very young, Parshuram deemed him unfit for the mission. Feeling humiliated by his boss, Vedha, who had ambitions to become a gangster leader, decided to attack the gang anyway. With his persistence, Vedha managed to eliminate all the gang members and save the kidnapped child. Thanks to his success in rescuing the rich man's kid, Parshuram and Vedha became highly respected figures in the local community, and from then on, Vedha and Parshuram's relationship became even closer. Vedha also shared the story of a man named Bablu who gathered minors to deal in illegal drugs. Bablu deliberately exploited the children because they were immune from the law. Bablu ordered the children to tell the police that the drugs on them were lollipops they accidentally found on the street if they were ever questioned one day by the police. Vedha was shocked when he found out that his younger brother, Shatak, was part of the drug gang. Not wanting his brother to fall into the dark world, Vedha immediately brought him home. Once they were at home, Vedha then reminded his younger brother not to get involved in Prasad's drug business, which was controlled by Bablu. He asked him to focus on his studies and choose a different path from his. It is revealed that Shatak is a math genius, so he has a better future than Vedha himself. When Bablu learned that the police were going on patrol, he quickly secured his drugs by giving them to the children in his village. One of Shatak's close friends, Chanda, agreed to keep the drugs because she needed the money. Unfortunately, the little girl was caught by the police. Shatak later said that the drugs did not belong to her but to Bablu. In the end, Bablu was arrested by the police, but he was released shortly after thanks to Prasad's power as the drug lord. Prasad was furious with Bablu, thinking that Bablu was incompetent in handling the children. He then ordered Bablu to punish the disobedient children so that they would no longer cause him trouble. On Prasad's orders, Bablu then began to look for Shatak, whom he believed to be the source of his problems. Bablu caught Shatak while he was playing with his friends. He then stabbed Shatak's hand and injured the little boy's hand. A few days later, when Vedha returned home, how sad and angry he was to find out that someone had dared to hurt his brother. Seething with rage, Vedha then attacked Prasad's base for revenge. Back at the police station, Vedha suddenly stopped his story and asked Vikram, "Who do you think I should kill, Prasad, who gave the order, or Bablu, who injured my brother?" Asked Vedha. "I will kill Prasad," Vikram replied. Vikram's answer matched what Vedha had done in the past. Vedha killed Prasad, the one who had ordered Bablu to harm his brother. Moments later, Vedha's lawyer arrives, and to Vikram's surprise, his wife is the lawyer hired by Vedha to handle the case. Priya then released Vedha on bail. Since there was no valid evidence of Vedha's crime, the police eventually released him on bail. Upon returning home, Vikram expressed his objection to his wife becoming an attorney for a dangerous criminal. He then asked Priya to drop the case. During the argument, Vikram's shouting startled Priya, who injured her hand on the scalding oil. Some time later, Vikram reached out to Abbas to ask for his help in persuading Priya to stop being Vedha's lawyer. It is revealed that Abbas was the one who introduced Priya to Vikram, leading to their marriage. However, Abbas told him that he could not do so, as he was currently investigating the existence of a drug factory based on information he received from a woman named Chanda. The talk about the drug factory with Abbas suddenly brought to Vikram's mind Vedha's story about his brother, Shatak, who had a stab wound on his hand. And sure enough, the corpse of the man who was killed earlier did have a scar on his hand. Vikram was panicked when he realized that Vedha's visit to the police station was to avenge his brother's death. Vikram's sanity went haywire when he realized that Chanda, the woman who gave Abbas the information, was Shatak's childhood friend. Realizing that Abbas is in danger, Vikram rushed to contact him, but his efforts were in vain. Abbas was unreachable. He suspected that Abad must have been Vedha's target because Abbas was the one who led the special forces when Shatak was killed. Vikram then decided to go to the drug factory. To Vikram's surprise, he found Abbas and Chanda both dead inside the factory. Abbas's death left his wife and kid very sad, as did Vikram. He was very sad to have lost his best friend and partner. Vikram was then determined to punish the culprit who had killed his best friend. He then alleged that Vedha was the main suspect in Abbas' murder. However, this was denied by Priya, Vedha's lawyer. She has evidence that, at the time of the incident, Vedha was out of town. To locate Vedha, Vikram secretly tapped Priya's phone. He also followed Priya when she was going to meet Vedha to get Vedha's signature on a bail paper from the court. However, Vikram's efforts apparently didn't pay off, as the file was only entrusted by Priya to Vedha's men. Vikram had not given up, so he followed Vedha's men to the town where Vedha lived. He then raided all the houses in the area, but Vedha had already sensed the arrival of the police, so he fled before the police arrived. As it turned out, Vikram was a very experienced cop. With his investigative skills, he managed to find Vedha. Vikram launched his attack on Vedha, but strangely, Vedha didn't resist at all despite Vikram's punches that kept landing on his face. Furious at Vedha's apparent lack of resistance, Vikram intends to kill him. The moment Vikram pointed his gun at Vedha, the locals arrived in a mob, and Vikram put a stop to his plan. As many people saw the incident, Vedha volunteered himself to be handcuffed and taken to the police station. Instead of taking Vedha to the police station, Vikram brought him to the forest and planned to kill him there. When Vikram was ready with his gun, Vedha begged Vikram to continue with his story before he died, and Vikram eventually complied. Vedha then resumed his story. 3 years ago, in the city of Lucknow, the gangsters attacked each other over territorial power. The grown-up Shatak helped Vedha, but he was not as skilled as his brother, so he was often injured. Unable to bear to see his brother beaten by the gangsters, Vedha then destroyed everyone who had injured his brother. Worried about his brother, who had to face death every single day, Shatak then persuaded him to go into business. However, Vedha, who had been a gang member all his life, was unable to accept his brother's offer but eventually agreed to provide funds to Shatak to set up a financial company. Shatak, a math genius, succeeded in getting Parshuram interested in investing in his company. However, problems arose when Parshuram's money was taken away by Chanda. Initially, Vedha and Shatak thought she had been kidnapped, and they both went looking for her. Because of her love for Shatak, Chanda finally contacted Shatak and apologized for what she had done. Chanda then returned the money, but Chanda's behavior, which had endangered his brother's life, made Vedha angry. But luckily, Chanda's life was saved thanks to Shatak, who begged his brother to forgive Chanda because he loved her. In the end, Vedha had to give in and follow his dear brother's wishes. After reclaiming Parshuram's money, Vedha then returned it. However, Parshuram felt that he had been played by Chanda, so he ordered Vedha to kill her. Vedha paused the story and addressed Vikram. If I kill Chanda, Shatak's heart will be broken, but if I don't kill her, it means I have to be ready to face my own boss, Vedha said. Vikram then replied that if he were in Vedha's position, he would stand up for Shatak and fight Parshuram. What Vikram said was true. Out of the blue, Vedha hit Vikram with the stone he had been holding while narrating his story to Vikram. Vedha then told Vikram that he would do anything to protect Shatak and Chanda by taking them to Mumbai and that he would fight Parshuram. However, the harsh reality hit him that the police had killed his brother. Therefore, if Vikram wanted to find out the cause of Abbas' death, then he should investigate Shatak's death. Soon after, Vedha walked away, leaving Vikram in a daze. One day, Vedha had a chance meeting with Priya. As it turns out, Vedha's intention to hire Priya as his lawyer had been planned beforehand. Through Priya, who is also Vikram's wife, he hoped to get information about his brother's death. Vedha then shared with Priya that Shatak was a good boy, he shouldn't have been killed by the police. Vikram and his team began investigating the deaths of Shatak and Abbas. He believed that someone else was involved in causing Shatak and Chanda to be in Lucknow when he and his team conducted the raid. Vikram then looked at some photographs of Chanda's dead body. He found many scars on her body, indicating that she had been tortured to death. He then concluded that Shatak's presence in the place was probably to save Chanda, and he also assumed that someone must have leaked the information about the whereabouts of Vedha's men. Vikram then decided to look for the informant. Unfortunately, the informer was killed by a group of gangsters from Mumbai. Vikram then beat up those gangsters because they refused to open their mouths and tell the truth. While he was fighting the gangsters, Vikram was almost killed because he was caught off guard and lacked focus. Fortunately, he was saved by his team members. Vikram then got a key, which turned out to be the key to the informant's room that he was looking for. When he entered the room, he found a box of drug-laced cigarettes. He then figured that the owner of the cigarettes was Vedha's henchman, Bablu, the man who took care of Prasad's drug business. It was clear that Vedha had been betrayed by his own man, Bablu. However, this discovery does not answer what Bablu had to do with the deaths of Shatak and Abbas. Vikram then sought Priya's help to connect him with Vedha so that he could explain to Vedha that Bablu had betrayed him. Bablu was the one who hired the Mumbai gang and used the police to get rid of Vedha. As soon as he heard Vikram's explanation, Vedha was furious. He attacked Bablu's place and killed all of Bablu's men. Vedha then took Bablu to the place where Abbas and Chanda were killed. Realizing his cover was blown, Bablu finally confessed that he was the mastermind behind the deaths of Shatak and Abbas. Meanwhile, Vikram has also arrived at the location where Shatak and Abbas were killed. On the orders of his boss, he was assigned to arrest Vedha and Bablu. He then pointed his gun at them. However, as the most feared and respected gangster, Vedha would not stay idle when someone pointed a gun at him. Before confronting Vikram, he killed Bablu first, right in front of Vikram. Bablu's death left Vikram confused, as he desperately needed information from Bablu about Abbas' death. However, Vedha told Vikram something that made him even more confused, saying that it wasn't Bablu who killed Abbas. If Vikram wanted to know what really happened, then he had to listen to the rest of his life story. When Vedha decided against working with Parshuram, he started his own gang. The group he was leading managed to kill a corrupt legislator in front of the citizens, and from then on, Vedha became the most feared gangster. In the meantime, Shatak and Chanda were living happily together in Mumbai. One day, Vedha went to visit them both to assure his brother that his life was fine. Unbeknownst to him, his meeting on that day was the last meeting he had with his little brother. After visiting his brother, Vedha returned to Lucknow. Vedha's ruthlessness and ferocity in dealing with his enemies made him the most powerful gangster in the city, and of course this caused envy among other gangster groups, including Bablu. Out of his envy and dislike for Vedha, Bablu hired gangsters from Mumbai and bribed a police officer to sweep in and eliminate Vedha and his men. The police officer bribed by Bablu turned out to be Abbas, even though he was known as an honest policeman. On Bablu's orders, Abbas framed Vikram and made him the person responsible for Shatak's death. Vikram couldn't believe what he had heard. He didn't think that his own best friend had framed him. Vedha then clarified that Abbas was forced to accept the bribe because he needed to pay for his kid's treatment at the hospital. Abbas was forced to do this because the salary he received as a police officer was not enough to pay for the medical treatment his child needed. After hearing Vedha's story, Vikram was even more confused about what was good and what was bad. Because of his confusion, he finally released Vedha and let him walk away. A short while later, Vikram's boss, Surendhar, and his team arrived. Surendhar was furious when he found out that Vikram had let Vedha go. Vikram then explained that Abbas had taken a bribe from Bablu. Abbas was killed when he realized his mistake and planned to rescue Chanda, who had been kidnapped by Bablu. However, Abbas' ambush was unsuccessful, and both he and Chanda died in the process. Vikram's analysis was later refuted by Surendhar, who confirmed that, based on the autopsy results, the bullet in Abbas' body came from Chanda's gun. The highly ingenious Vikram was eventually able to find a small loophole in the case. He suspected that some of the policemen had taken bribes from Bablu, including Surendhar and his team, who were living the high life. His suspicions grew stronger when he realized that Chanda was holding the gun in her right hand, whereas according to Vedha, Chanda was a lefty. Eventually, Surendhar's cover was blown, and he admitted that he had planned to kill Vedha. All this time, he had never managed to catch Vedha, who lived like a demon. Surendhar then said that he deliberately kidnapped Chanda to lure Shatak to Lucknow to save her. With the arrival of Shatak, it was certain that Vedha would also come to help his little brother. They also deliberately killed Shatak so that Vedha would come out of his hideout, but their plan was foiled by Abbas. Not wanting his plan to fall apart, Surendhar inevitably murdered Abbas. How angry and upset Vikram was when he learned the truth, he felt betrayed. Vikram then pointed his gun at Surendhar, but the situation turned around, and he almost lost his life. Fortunately, Vedha came to his rescue. The two of them then unite to fight the police, who have gone beyond the path of justice. Vikram and Vedha succeed in eliminating those bad cops. At the end of the story, Vikram and Vedha point their guns at each other and Vikram says, "What should I do? Kill or let Vedha live?" And Vedha just laughs. Thanks for watching.